What is going on, beautiful people? It is your boy Brandon Gross coming back at you with another XD Daily Creative Challenge. Welcome back to Adobe Live. We have some really awesome things for day number 8 with you. And before we begin, I want to say hi to you guys. What's going on, Gus? We have Anime Elephant. We have Annika, Mezayu, Victor, Be Creative, Ruth, Sam is in the house, and we have our man Deb Deep. What's going on? All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know how this rolls. Happy to have you here. Before we get started, we're going to do some awesome things. So if you haven't already, hit this like button, whether you're on Behance or YouTube. And let us begin. Like we have today, we have our creative challenge. This is day number 8. If you guys are 100% new to the XD Daily Creative Challenge, there's 2 links down in the description. And you can first download the starter file that we're going to be working on together today. And also, if you want to join the amazing XD community on Discord, go ahead and click the second link down in the description. Well, you'll go to behance.net/challenge/XD and join our community. And we'll get to that in just a second. But let's talk about what we're doing today. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Numacorn? What's going on, Paul? Today we have masks. This is the last day, almost. We have 2 more days. This is one of the last days that we have. We're designing a portfolio homepage with a dynamic hover animation using masks and hover interactions. You're going to see a lot of kind of what we did yesterday and for the remaining of what we did this last 2 weeks in what we did today. So you can also download our Get Started file from here as well. All right. And by the way, when you guys enter our Discord, if you press that lovely blue button at the top of the webpage, you'll be brought to this amazing place where you can submit your lovely designs that you have done along with us in our 2 weeks of the challenges in the feedback section within the challenges. And we see a whole bunch of people. There's been tons of people who've been submitting their work. It's been absolutely lovely. And we're going to take a peek at some of these towards the end of our showcase today. All right. Gus says, say it isn't so. It's just one of the last days. We have 2 of those last days, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So let's show you a little bit of a sneak peek what you're going to see when you get in the starter file. You're going to see the prompt. You're going to get some of the inspiration. By the way, shout out to Roman Shylin. I believe that's how that's pronounced, his first and last name. It's a beautiful Unsplash photo. So if you want to go ahead and download and play with that for today's session. I was already a boss and gave you guys literally everything, so you can reverse engineer it on your own time. But this is kind of what it looks like. Your name here, zooms out, and we have some very slowly, I don't know what else to say besides percolating. There's a gradual transition from here, the blank page, to that animation. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So we are actually going to just start off not doing this entire thing. I gave this entire thing to you guys just for fun, but I'm going to show you how to get these grid lines in here, how to separate out images and put them together in this fashion. All right, so I'm going to first off, I'm going to press A. I'm going to create a new artboard, not a mobile one. We're going to create a web 19 by 20. And we're going to steal the background color of this. Now, what I'm going to do is this is kind of, you'll see something, some of this is remnant of what we did yesterday. We have a little opaque black rectangle on top of it, but underneath of that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles with our image within it. And if you were here yesterday, you 100% should remember. If not, thank you for just like looking at my delicious face and not intaking any of that information. Regardless, if you didn't rewatch yesterday or stay here, we're gonna do it again. We are going to, because what we're trying to fill is 1920 by 1080. We just need to know the width. We need to figure out, okay, I want 5 of these rectangles, and I just need to be able to fit 5 perfectly within the 1920 width. So because Adobe XD is smart, it can do the math for us. We're going to do 1920 divided by 5. and it gives us what that piece would be. So now if I just went ahead and hit Control R, which is to hit our repeat grid. If you don't want to hit that shortcut, you can very simply just click on your element and go to repeat grid up here. And I'm gonna pull out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Do math operation exactly. Alright, let's see. And all I'm gonna do, which is awesome about the repeat grid, is I can just squeeze out all of this extra space that I don't need in here. There we go. I'm gonna turn off the border. Perfect. Okay, so we have everything in here. We have, I'm gonna just make this, I'm gonna force this to 1920 by 1080. So 1920, there we go. Perfecto. And now all I have to do is, I'm just gonna ungroup this. I know, a lot of people like to keep it together. Actually, I wonder, we're gonna learn something, we're gonna learn today. We're gonna see if I select this ungroup thing, and if I just paste this in here. Genius. Okay, all right, let's roll back. Let's roll back the tape. So this gets even better. We might finish this in 2 minutes, guys. I was about to take you guys the long way. So I did this manually. I put in an image in each rectangle, and then just moved it. But because XD is awesome, and so are, this is why Howard always says, leave the repeat grids alone, Brandon. We can just select our repeat grid and hit Control Alt V, or on your end, actually, you know what? It probably might be better just to do what I did, because what we're gonna fall into, the problem we're gonna fall into is the sizing of this thing. So even though that was really short and quick, we might go, let me see. I'm gonna have to think about this. It's gonna hurt my brain. Oh wait, never mind, hold up. Just have to do some thinking on the fly, guys. This is what was not what I was expecting on showing you how to do it, but this might work just as fine. All right, so what I'm gonna do, let me roll back here. So I selected the repeat grid. I've copied this image over here. I've hit Control Alt V here. On Mac, you'll do Control Option V. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click inside one of them. I'm going to increase the size to about the full size of the artboard here. And what I wanna do is, let me see if I can select. All right, so now this is where I have to deselect some of these things, because if I move one, it moves all of them. So this is where I'll ungroup the grid. And I'm just gonna go inside each individual one of these and try to move them over to fit the full picture. So, do you guys see what I'm doing in the chat? Christine said, "Did you see smoke coming out of his ears?" I would not doubt that. We were working diligently. All right, so all I'm doing now is I'm trying to match all of, and please let me know if you guys are tracking or not tracking in the chat. If I've gone a little bit too quickly, please let me know and I'll go back for you. So far what we've done is we got our main image into all the cards. Next step was, okay, now we want to drag the images inside each mask to fit the original image, so to speak. So I'm just doing some dragging real quick. I'm pretending I'm making a puzzle, holding shift while I drag these things, because it helps me line some things up. I'm going to use my directional arrows to find where they line up. Merv is saying, where can I find the challenges? My friend, down in the description. It should be the second link in the description, and you can join along with us. Today we are doing masks. I wonder if I just throw this over here. No, that is wrong. 9. Okay, and I'm just situating things here. I'm just doing the micro stuff. And I can see that it's not lined up because it's blurred, so I'm just going to use my arrow keys and try to move it in place. until it is a sharp enough image. Perfect. Awesome. So we have all our slits here. There's a little bit of, actually, no, there's no gap. So we're good. Awesome. Now, honestly, all we have to do, like, you guys are going to laugh at me. This is how simple this is. I'm going to group all this. I'm going to duplicate it. And I am going to pull this down. I'm going to stagger them. So we're going to do like a little staircase here. And this is what I mean by like XD makes life just so much easier. How long have we been in this challenge thus far? All we've done is made rectangles and put an image in it, and yeah. And we're about to get this effect very quickly. We're gonna just go to prototype. I'm gonna make a timed trigger. I'm gonna make it wait for about, we'll do 1.5 seconds. And we're gonna do an auto animate type of animation. We're gonna make sure that is a snap. And we'll do a duration of, we'll do 2.5. 2.5 is like a nice enough way to figure out if it looks good, if it looks horrible. And we're just gonna pick whip it back, and it'll remember all of our settings. So let's take a look at what we have. Easy, guys. Did I even have to show up today? That was easy. We are 12 minutes in. I probably talked about the first 5 minutes, but look at what we have done in this time. And of course we can go back in. We can, like I said, I probably wouldn't leave it to 2.5. I would definitely make sure that I have the speed in which, like, I think the way that it goes in is good, but the way that it goes out is way too slow, and I wouldn't have that. I would definitely increase or decrease the time so it goes a lot faster. Judy is asking, is there some sort of transparency setting that makes if you can see through the image to check if it is lined up? Well, it is lined up. I don't need to check to see if it is lined up. I can zoom all the way in. But how I know it's lined up is because we did that math in the beginning. We took our artboard, we figured out we figured out what was the width, and we basically just did, we took a rectangle, we just pulled it out, make it any color, and I'm just gonna go in the width, 1920. Let's say I want 5. I want 5 slits, or maybe I want 6. I'm gonna say 1920 divided by 6. And I'm just gonna pull this from top to bottom. Control R for repeat grid. I'm gonna pull out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy day. And I can actually, let's see, I'm gonna remove all of the padding here. There we go, it's a 0. And I'm gonna make sure that the width is 1920 because that's the size of our actual artboard. And there we go. There should be, even though it shows it from far away, like there's spacing, there's really not. And if there was, just put a black background, or in this case, I would just make this a pink background. But this should pretty much save you from having it mathematically correct. It should keep you in check. Judy is asking, when you move them over and nudge them to line them up. It kind of does that itself. Like when I click in, it already makes like a mini transparency. It does that automatically. So I just had to line it up with the first image. Hope that answers your question. All right, so Paul is asking, how did you animate it like that? It's pretty simple. We have to remember that XD is all about before and after animation. So we started off with our 5 pillars. We put our image in there and we went to prototype, or we duplicated it. We created another one and we said, okay, all these elements that where we want it to end up, we want them to start here. so that when we actually put an animation on this, which we did, we went to prototype, we selected this plus, we dragged it over to this other artboard, we hit the trigger time, we gave it a 1.5 second delay time, we made it an auto animation, we wanted our easing to be snap, and we want the duration of the animation to be 2.5. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about auto animation, the basics of that, definitely go to letsxd.com or check out the basic XD tutorials within XD, which you can find very much right within XD. You just go to the home, learn, and to DAO. You have everything from here, from getting started, designing, prototyping, collaboration, and design systemos. All right, next piece. This is where you want to have fun, right? I just did some basic stuff. I pulled out a logo with Playfair. So, and also, by the way, there was this. For example, some people might just put on, they might put logo. All right, they might put their logo somewhere. But, I want the image to be in the background, and I want everything else to be in the foreground. So what I could do is just draw another rectangle. Well, I'm gonna pull this off. Draw another rectangle. Take the border off. Make this a little bit darker. Turn the opacity down a little bit. And now I can drag my stuff on top. So now we have a little bit of a barrier between what's going on in the background and what's going on in the foreground. All right. And let's do this. Also, this is something that I forgot, and it can be really fun. A lot of people like to ask about grids. I can actually accentuate the grid lines that were made based on how we divided up our photos here. So how I do that is I'm just making lines. I'm going to make them white. I'm going to repeat about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think I need 4. And I'm going to pull these right about. I'm going to try to find where these are. I'm going to try to get these lines right in between where the different pieces end here. There we go. This one is a little bit off. I'm just going to ungroup it. And I can, actually I think it's fine. So we have pretty much in grid lines that we've manufactured here. I'm going to group them. We don't need them to be 100% obvious. We're just going to leave that there. And these grids are just for the aesthetics. And what I mean by that is, let's see. I'm going to keep them behind. You'll notice that some websites you'll see like the grid and like they expose it and it's part of the aesthetic of the design basically. Just over here reading the chat really quick. What's going on, Anthony? I was trying to read your question about Adobe XD and if it's related to if you could do a certain action like you can in XD. If you try to maybe reframe your question, I might be able to help, but I do not currently understand. I'm assuming you're asking if anybody can place a design in like copy paste inside XD. If that is your question, the answer is yes. It's quite easy. You just copy and paste like in Illustrator. So I have your name, your logo, your name, and I'm gonna do what every designer does when they don't know what font to use. We just go to Montserrat, and we're gonna go to regular, and we're gonna maybe drop it down to 20 to 20, and we're gonna go to Gus, normal copy and paste, appearance, interaction. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll show you guys in a second what the main commands that I use, in particular when it comes to XD and pasting things. Let's just very quickly, let me get 3 lines in here. And by the way, this quick, nice and easy lorem ipsum plugin is a lifesaver when it comes to just needing filler copy. And I'm just going to add a nice little button here. Bring that forward. And honestly, what I might do is take this Playfair and use it for the button and bring that to our black. Maybe we'll make it a little bit smaller. We'll have it say hello. And we're going to center the say hello in this box here. And good day. All right, so that's literally what we have here. It's a little bit more separated here. We can play around with the opacity if you want. But that's essentially what we have. Now let's kind of go back to, there's a couple things that we would need to do. For example, we have this this new middle ground that we've added. We would need to add the middle ground, the logo, the type, and our button, which I will group before we move any forward. I'm gonna group this. I'm gonna take our logo, our foreground, and I'm gonna bring it over here. Because as we know, XD is all about before and after. So I'm gonna take your name, I'm gonna bring it down, reduce the opacity, and same thing with the logo. I'm gonna bring it down, reduce the opacity. We are missing our lines here, so I'm going to take those as well. I'm going to call them lines. I'm going to pull them over here, call them lines as well, and I need to place them in the proper order. So we have our rectangle lines, we have our logo is here, this is our group on top. Okay. So all I'm checking for right now is I want to make sure that all of the things that I have copied over to our previous artboard, because we must have them if we're trying to auto animate them, XD needs to know, hey, this layer that you just named, where is it on this layer? And if it doesn't find the same layer name, it just like doesn't believe it exists and tries to populate it. So you need to have the same file name structure from one artboard to another. And that worked perfectly. So this is kind of what we did today, ladies and gentlemen. We can finagle it, we can tweak it some more if we wanted to, but we have about 3 minutes here, and I do want to pop into the Discord to show you guys a little bit of what we have been up to in other people's work. So if you guys dug what we did today, don't forget to hit that like up button, and also please let us know in the Discord if you had any troubles, as I think some did, and I did have some answers for you. There was one in particular about the shoes. Maybe I'll answer that one very quickly. Bugs Funny was asking about how to slow down the transition of the auto animate with these particular shoes. Hey, what's going on, Andrea? Glad you had a moment to stand or just come by. Thank you so much. So if you want, just like with any auto animate, you want to be able to, or you have the ability to slow down your animations by increasing the time that it takes to do those things. So I highly recommend you take a look at your auto animation or your prototype panel and increase the time that it takes to go through the animation. That should help you out. But everybody else, you know, I'm sorry guys, I just have such like a love for the imposter ones, like because you guys make them so funny. But this one was by, let's see, this was Leanne M. I swear this one almost was like a promotional video. Nah, he's the imposter. Like, these are so good. I hope you guys continue to do this, because this is hilarious. So, all right, guys, we have one more minute, so I'm going to pause out here. I want to say thank you so much for joining today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back here, same time, same place. So don't forget to come back tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.